Lanzamiento, aquí viene un batazo de Mundito entre right center field, la bola pica, se extiende, viene anotando Stott, empata el juego, también manda para la bola Turner anota y los Phillies se van arriba. Se prepara, Mundito en segunda, el lanzamiento, batazo profundo para el center field, la bola se va, Schwarber Bohm, ¡campanazo! Aquí viene el lanzamiento, swing y lo ponchó. Ponche de Alvarado, amigos. Hello everyone, and welcome to Phillies Weekly. It's a pleasure to be here with all of you. Look at the dream team that I get to put up with up today. Tim Kelly and Ty Daubert from on Pattison, as well as Phillies Nation. Guys, thank you for coming over. Jeff is in the middle of a race. I don't know if he was racing in Dover or something, but he was up at the race doing his thing. So it's going to be the three of us today. Maybe Jeff will decide to join. We'll see. But it's a real pleasure to have you here, guys. Look, what can we say? I mean, this team is a roller coaster. 9-19. Now we're 15-4 under Mattingly. We're 16-3 when our pitchers go 6+ innings. I mean, it's amazing. I mean, pitching can do a lot of magic. Tim, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's good to talk to you, and I can picture Jeff on the pit crew. I think I don't know if I see him as a driver, but on the pit crew, like changing the tire, I can see it.
No, absolutely. How you doing, Ty? Great to see you, man.
I'm good. It's good to talk to you again, and what a difference a few weeks can make. A lot different conversation now after that series in Pittsburgh than we would have been having just a few weeks ago when they played the Braves and the Cubs. So I'm excited to get into it with you.
We'll start with one of our dear friends. The Phillies are back. There we go. That is the message. The Phillies are back. What an amazing Scott says here, MB3. Look, it's amazing. I mean, and the starts are the ones that are kind of putting the show. I know we'll talk more in detail about this, but look, what we saw this week from our pitching was incredible. I mean, particularly with regards to Wheeler and Nola. I mean, those two guys are out of this world. I mean, we have the luxury of having, I mean, those two, I would not want to be an opponent having to face those two guys in a postseason. I mean, they're just simply amazing.
Yeah, Wheeler and Sanchez have just been tremendous of late. Like you see Wheeler, or you see Sanchez yesterday go for the complete game, and then Wheeler comes in today, goes 7 innings. After that start in Boston was one of the most amazing things I've seen, where you're through like 4 or 5 innings and you've thrown less than 40 pitches. I mean, in some ways it speaks to the Red Sox not being great, but no, it's been incredible. And in Miami a couple weeks ago when I was there, Zack Wheeler talked about, like, we took it on ourselves as a rotation to try and start to get this thing going. It's time to start. There's no more time to mess with yet. They had to dig themselves out of a hole. I never would have thought in a million years they'd dig themselves out of the hole this quickly. It's been
4-23. I mean, it's just like we were 9-19 like 2 weeks ago. I mean, it's like amazing. I mean, what a turnaround. I mean, if you ask me, the most important thing has been pitching. Ty, do you agree with that? That pitching has been the key part that has gotten us there. I know we get some great hitting performances, but pitching is the name of the game.
Absolutely, and since this team sort of made the jump into postseason World Series contender, it's been on the back of its starting pitching. At the start of the run, it was really Wheeler and Aaron Nola. And as things went on, Cristopher Sánchez has emerged as this great top of the rotation pitcher. And they acquired Luzardo last season. They lose Ranger Suarez, but it's still a team that's built on its rotation. And I think a big part of why they were struggling earlier in the year is they weren't getting what they needed out of their rotation. They still had Taijuan Walker, and that didn't go well, and they ended up just releasing him. And Cristopher Sánchez had a few starts, even somewhat recently, where they were racking up hits against them, even if the lines weren't totally terrible. It was out of character. And Zack Wheeler, early in the season, wasn't up in the big leagues right away, but they're kind of at full strength right now, doing what you would expect them to do, and it's righted the ship. It's helped things normalize for the Phillies, and they look, for better or worse, some people could criticize them for this, and I would get it. They look like they have the last few seasons because that rotation is really normalized.
Before we go into the slide, I thought this comment was a very interesting one. I think the Phillies had Wheeler in October, results versus the Dodger would have been different. That's an interesting comment. I do believe our pitching was really lights out in the postseason. I mean, do you guys believe that? I think it was our hitting the biggest issue what we didn't pass.
It was, but I mean, you lost game one because of the bullpen. If you have Jesus Luzardo or Ranger Suarez in the bullpen in that game one, maybe it does go differently. I don't know. It's an interesting hypothetical because in game four, when Luzardo came out of the bullpen, he was nasty. So the Phillies got to a point last postseason where I don't think they really trusted any reliever other than Joan Duran. So having that extra starter in a short series would have helped them, but it didn't ultimately play out.
Did you guys ever get an answer why Ranger did not come in the 7th and 8th innings and they decided to bring that? I mean, I don't even want to mention his name. Robertson to come in the back on the 7th. I mean, after he struggled getting that last out, did we ever get an answer for that?
I don't know if there was ever an exact answer. It just seemed like they were trying. Seemed like they were almost caught in between. Like he was available in the bullpen, but they didn't want to use him unless they needed to, for whatever reason.
It was a 3-2 game. I mean, you had to win that game. I mean, no matter what. I mean, even if Duran needed to pitch 3 innings. I mean, you had to win the game. I mean, that was the game of the series. You lost that game, you lost the series. There is no doubt in my mind about it. But hey, it is what it is. I mean, we get to cry and. But that I never got an answer why Ranger did not come out in that 7th, because he would have been perfect for the 7th and 8th inning in that game. And look, if you need to use him a different way during the series, but you needed to win that game, you were winning 3-2 at the time. So, hey, let's go over the week. I mean, so first we beat the Red Sox. Hardly any runs. I mean, you see there 1 for 5 in the first game. 1 for 3 in the first game with runners in scoring position. 0 for 3 in the second. 2 for 6 in the second. This team didn't hit at all during that game. I mean, your gut feelings coming out of that series.
Well, based on that, they actually hit pretty well with runners in scoring position. They just didn't get runners in scoring position.
That's what I meant.
They're 3 for 12. That's not atrocious. Yeah,
it's not atrocious.
The bigger problem is they just weren't getting guys. They have been, in my opinion, this season too reliant, and it's been the case for a few seasons, on Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber hitting a home run to win the game. But they've been doing that a lot recently, and you've been getting really good pitching. And then Friday night in Pittsburgh, where it looked like the air might come out of the balloon after the start from Aaron Nola, all of a sudden the whole offense takes off. And yes, Friday was a lot of Schwarber and Harper, and the whole weekend really was. But today you won the game without Schwarber doing anything.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know. It's this team, without a doubt. I mean, the base of this team is based on pitching, and we know that starting pitching and how our starting pitching goes is how we're going to win games. A lot of times 2-1. I mean, like we face here, or 3-1. And there is not enough hitting or consistent hitting, and it's who they have as a team. And we've been screaming out loud that they need a 4th hitter, and that for a long time, and we don't have a 4th hitter, and the answer ain't Bond, and it's not Garcia either. But it's the name of the game. Any thoughts from the Boston series from your end, Ty?
Not really. You guys have kind of covered it, but it's been the start of that really good pitching run. I mean, they give up 1, 3, and 1 runs, and they're able to come out with a series win. But it started with really good pitching, and that's what carried the team into the weekend to sweep things out in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, well, that's a reality. How about the series in Pittsburgh? I mean, what happened here? I mean, because it's like, so the bats suddenly decided to wake up in this series. I mean, it's like it was like a different team. I mean, outside of Schwarber and Harper, that we know they've been very, very hot, the entire team decided to hit. And today, 5 runs in 5 innings against Paul Skeens. I mean, I saw him in the first game of the season this year where he was atrocious. They took him out in the first inning, and this is his game. I mean, those are the only two bad games I've ever seen in my life out of that guy.
Yeah, Paul Skeens in my life is the best pitcher I've seen enter from the beginning of his career. Just immediately was one of the 5 best pitchers, and not 5 to begin his career. But yeah, they got after him today, and I would say that Friday night win was one of the best wins that the Phillies have had this entire era, where they're able to come back. You get the superstars. Schwarber hits the 2 home runs. You have Bryce Harper nearly hits a grand slam, but ends up being a double. So you had that great win. But I think another one of the things we see on here, Alvarado gets the win Friday. You got Joan Duran back. Brad Keller's had some nice moments recently. I think the bullpen has flown under the radar a little bit. It's starting to look a little more like what you expected.
Yeah, I agree. So entering, this is how we ended up this series. So we're 19th. I mean, look at the difference between both of them. So we enter the series in Boston, or we ended the series in Boston being 26 in run score. It's on the bottom right. Run score 4.02. We leave Pittsburgh at 4.23, 19th in baseball. So we go in one series from 26 to 19 in baseball. And then the ERA, you see it from 4.44. It goes down to 18, but without a doubt, I mean, our starting pitching has been completely insane. And you'll see it in a minute. I mean, it starts with Cristopher Sánchez and Zack Wheeler. I mean, those two. I just decided to use Cristopher today, but because of the outing he had yesterday. It says the first career shutout is the second of his career. He was the player of the week last week. He continues with a 29.2 scoreless streak. Look, 2 weeks ago, this is not the Cristopher Sánchez that we've seen in the last 2 outings. I mean, this guy is turning it on to another level.
He is, and he's now tied with Cam Schlittler for the best WAR among all pitchers in baseball. He's really closed a gap there. And honestly, you look at this weekend, last year, obviously Skeens, and I think deservedly so, he was first and Sanchez was second. But if it ends up the other way this year, where Sanchez ends up first and Skeens ends up second, we'll look back at this weekend where Sanchez throws the complete game and is great, and then Skeens has one of his rare poor starts on Sunday, and that spikes his ERA enough that who knows? I mean, there's a long time to play, but that stands out to me.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if it ends up going that way and Cristopher Sánchez comes away with his first career Cy Young, he could probably give Bryce Harper a nice firm handshake, thank you very much for hitting that 3-run homer. These things, when there are those pitchers at the top of the class that are all really good and it comes down to a close race, those kind of weekends, that tips the scales. So I think Tim's right. This could be one that you end up thinking about at the end of the season, depending how everything else goes.
So Sanchez is now 5-2 with a 1.82 ERA, and then the other thing that you see here is that you'll see it in a minute that Wheeler is a 1.99 ERA, so with a 3-0. So Wheeler is coming. It's coming. Yeah, that guy is amazing. I mean, just for what he's done over the last. I mean, for coming back. I mean, getting the surgery and coming back. I mean, he was throwing 98 today. 98. Yeah. And he said it's the weather. He said he likes it warm. So, I mean, he was, amazing today. So kudos to Cristopher and for Wheeler to bringing this team back to a respectable, what we expected in the very beginning. I mean, let's think of this for a second. If you think we would have been at this 24 and 23 mark, would you have been surprised? Or you said, hey, we have a slow start. We didn't get it as good as we didn't start as good as we wanted to.
You mean going into the season?
Yeah. I mean, if we would have gotten to this 47 mark and you're 24 and 23, would you have been surprised?
I think it would have been disappointing going into the season, but given where you were, if you told me at 9 and 19 that they were going to be at 24 and 23, I would have been shocked.
I mean, it's almost par for the course. It seems like this core players, for whatever reason, except for maybe 2024, they tend to get off to slow starts and figure things out heading into the summer and then closer to the end of the season. You can think of a lot of these years where they did end up making the playoffs where maybe April and May, they don't come out of it with their record looking so amazing. And then in the summer, they tend to really turn it on.
Yeah. So the images are courtesy of the Philadelphia Phillies.
One more thing on both those guys, like you mentioned, Sanchez and Wheeler, they're both incredible stories right now. Every time Sanchez makes one of these starts, it makes you sort of wonder and reflect on just like, how did he get to this point? In June of 2023, he was a pitcher. He was a AAA sort of swingman who had like a mid-4s ERA, who they needed essentially a spot starter. He was the guy available, and he's just turned into one of the best pitchers in all of baseball. I remember Rob Thompson used to kind of joke that he would throw his pitches to the top of the complex or something like that. Like he didn't know where it was going. And now he's pinpoint with multiple pitches. And Wheeler, like you mentioned, who last year in August, September, you never knew for sure if he'd even throw another pitch. And he's back to looking a lot like his old self. It's pretty remarkable.
Tim and I live a few double headers between the Washington Nationals and the Phillies, with Christopher coming up to pitch game one. Game one. I still remember that. It was like, I mean, he was a guy that had all the, physical tools, but he couldn't put it together. And I remember going in an off season, he came back a different pitcher. Physically fitted. He always had a great physique, but he came in bold. He practiced all winter. He came in conditionings that I never seen. And the beauty of him is how he's improved, how he works to improve year after year. So right now you're looking, he couldn't throw the slider. Look at the slider he's throwing right now. It's a complementary pitch to his 3-pitch arsenal and his changeup. He had 17 whiffs yesterday. 12 of them came on the changeup, but some of them came on the sinker and some of them came on the slider, and he continues to evolve as a pitcher. And look, he has the size that very few has, the physical capabilities to even take it to another level. So that's
I think a lot of it is just the confidence in him has improved.
That's true.
And
that's true.
Yes, he has the build. He bulked up. I think like you can't underestimate. I don't know when he got married exactly, but he's now married, has kids. Like just becoming more mature and confident. I think that all factors into this too.
Yeah, last year, prior to the season, he got married. Prior to last year, he has a wonderful kid, and he's a wonderful, wonderful guy. So, speak the world of him, both on the personal side as well as the professional side. He's truly a gentleman. Let's not leave this page. Aaron Nola. Look, it's complex. It's concerning. It's the bigger question is, what is the long term? Because we're still going to have him after this year. What, 3 more years? And
four.
Or 4. I wanted to say 3, but it's I don't know. You
may be at the point you were at with Ryan Howard after he tore his Achilles, where he had 5 years left on a contract, but he just didn't have it anymore. Obviously, Aaron Nola didn't have an injury like that, but this may be what he is at this point, and it's not his fault. He's one of the best pitchers in the history of the team. There was a great start 2 weeks ago in Miami, and you thought maybe he can build off that, and instead he just got rocked on Friday. It just the margin for error when you're throwing in the low 90s in Major League Baseball today is almost nothing. Like 20 years ago, you could live at that and have a 20-year career in the major leagues. You can't do that anymore. And he's thrown so many innings. He's been so durable. It seems like it's caught up with him. And it's unfortunate because the Phillies did one of these contracts where they gave him an extra year or two to lower the average annual value. But now he's going to be on the books for a long time. And it's kind of going to, if it continues to go like this, it's going to cloud the perception of him, which is unfortunate given how much he did succeed for this team over the first decade.
It's going back. I know we could just say whatever we want to say now. No, I would not have signed him and all that. I remember that we wanted to keep him. The question is, I think we were put in a very tough spot. I'm trying to look for his stats here, so guys can look at it for the season. Here we go. Here's kind of where he is right now. I mean, 2-3, 9 starts, 5.91 ERA, 45 innings. I mean, you can see he's not dominating. 53 hits, 18 base on balls. I mean, this was a guy that could pitch 7 innings. I mean, just you close your eyes, you open your eyes. I mean, he might allow a couple home runs, but he'll allow 3 runs. But you would be in the 6th inning. I mean, either winning 3-2 or 4-2, or you could be losing by a run or 2, and then you'll have a chance. But right now, I mean, this is not sustainable. That is a problem.
I think if it is at the point where he's just sort of this is going to be his effectiveness overall. Of course, you obviously want to get the ERA somewhere lower than this, but they need to somehow figure out a plan where he can at least eat up innings like he used to. If it's not going to be that ERA in the 3s for nearly 200 innings, and is probably, if he's not going to pitch as well as he used to, it's going to be hard to get up to 200 innings, but it can't be more outings like this one in Pittsburgh where he's not even through 4 innings. They've got to work with him and make a plan, and he needs to figure some things out where it can get to, even though it would be it'll be an expensive 5th starter. They need to somehow get it to a point where he can just be that 5th starter.
It's manageable. I mean, at least you're in the games. You're at least remain on the games.
Get him on the weighted ball program. That's the answer. Whenever a pitcher's struggling today, just get him on the weighted ball program.
Yeah, I mean, it's like we get, and this is the type of questions. Hold on one second. Let me see here. This is the type of questions. What would be possible for Nola's replacement this season? I mean, there's nobody that can replace Nola.
Well, there's no taking him out of the rotation.
Yeah.
He's making.
You can.
He's here.
Is it 17 million a year? How much is he making?
Enough that you're not putting him on in the bullpen or anything like that.
No,
Certainly not.
And another point to that is they don't even have much depth in terms of starting pitching in the system. I believe the only 2 starting pitchers on the 40-man roster not on the big league staff right now are Alan Ronhell and Gene Cabrera. The team just sent Gene Cabrera from AAA to AA because he had a really poor start to the season. And Alan Ronhell is sort of a nice depth piece, but probably not somebody you want in your rotation full time. You want him more.
He's an emergency guy. He's an emergency guy. If somebody goes down, he's the one coming up.
A capable swingman of coming up for a start or 2, or if you need a long reliever, he's somebody interesting and can eat up those innings. But once he's up, then you have no more pitching depth. So unless somebody is hurt and you have to switch things around, Aaron Nola is going to be in there, and this is going to be the 5 starters that are up on the screen right now.
The Phillies, I can answer this question, or I can not answer this question, because I tried to ask Aaron Nola that multiple times in that press conference of whether somebody offered him more money, and he didn't want to answer it, respectfully, as always with Aaron Nola. But yeah, I mean, I just think at this point you have to think of him as your number 5 starter, and it puts more pressure on Andrew Painter to at least be your number 4 starter, which I think he can do. Yeah, he has to do it. He hasn't done it consistently, but he looked good in Boston. He'll pitch tomorrow night. You need him to be your number 4 and those other 3 guys to hold up health-wise. But if that happens and Aaron Nola is your 5, then you're not really talking about him being a factor in the playoffs. Maybe he'll pitch an inning or 2 like he did in that Game 3 in Dodger Stadium, but you're not talking about needing him to make a start in the playoffs. So it is what it is right now. When you sign a lot of big contracts, you're not going to hit on every single one. And it appears that Aaron Nola, and Dave Dombrowski mentioned this in the press conference a couple weeks ago when I asked him, what are you seeing from Nola? And he basically said, like, he hinted at the ABS, and at first I didn't really get that, but the more that I've thought about it, I at least get it to a degree that this was somebody, if you watch a baseball game from 30 years ago, veteran pitchers were getting pitches east to west, Greg Maddux, Jamie Moyer, that were nowhere near strikes, but they would get called strikes. That doesn't exist in today's game because of ABS. And when you don't have that margin for error, you have to come into the strike zone. And if you come into the middle of the strike zone with a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, it's going to get hit into the bullpen. So it's not a good situation Nola's in right now. Like I saw somebody. Oh, thank you, Brandon Apter. Always got love for Brandon.
Look at that, man. Look at that. Big fan of what you guys do. Team and Ty are legends. I agree with that. I mean, that's why they're here. They're the legends. Question: do you think they can keep this run going, or are we headed for one of the classics deflating offensive slumps again? Hey, it's a nice roller coaster, man. Welcome to Six Flags.
I would say you probably, this run, I know today was different, but this run, this weekend at least, and lately, it's been carried by Schwarber and Harper, and you probably can't expect them. You figure that their season numbers are going to be good. You probably can't expect what they've done over the last week or two to keep going. So until somebody else proves that they can step up on a consistent basis, you would have to assume that a slump is coming. And you see it where Schwarber can get into those slumps as high as the highs are, you know, with just the way that sort of
this guy's a monster, man.
The hard swinging power hitters.
This guy's a monster. I mean,
he's going to the Hall of Fame. He's going to hit 500 home runs. I've never been more sure of anything. I think the problem right now is the Phillies have to win every game like it's a playoff game. Like, you need your starter to go 7 innings. You need Harper and or Schwarber to hit a home run. And then you probably need Joan Duran to come in and Jose Alvarado to come in and hold on to a 1 or 2 run lead. It's tough to win like that consistently, especially inevitably Schwarber and or Harper will go into a slump or get hurt or whatever the case is. And Marsh has had a great season. And you do see Stott and Bohm and Trea Turner starting to show some signs of life. You just don't have a fourth hitter, though. I mean, and I don't think the answer is giving Kyle Schwarber less at-bats and having him hit there. But you don't have –
putting Alec Bohm as a fourth hitter.
Well, you just don't have another option. Adolis García has fielded well. He hasn't hit the way you would have hoped. JT Realmuto's 35. Aiden Miller, who knows what's going on there. So you don't really have an option there. So the Phillies are going to be at a juncture in the playoffs or in the summer, where Dave Dombrowski has to find a way to get an impact right-handed bat, and those are hard to come by in today's game.
Yeah, I mean, Schwarber is amazing. First to 20 home runs, a historical run. I mean, if you compare it to the best hitter in the history of baseball, this guy did it in 44 games, 20 home runs. I mean, he's amazing. And the other thing, in 1,321 games, he got to 350 ahead of Babe Ruth. I mean, that's...
But Babe Ruth was a pitcher for a lot of that. That's the only problem with that stat.
It's okay. I mean, I think Schwarber can pitch too.
Kyle Schwarber was a catcher.
Yeah, that's true.
He's a catcher. He was a catcher. Well, over the last 13 games, this guy's a 1.210 OPS, 9 home runs, 6. We're talking 13 games, guys. 9 home runs, 16 RBIs, and 18 strikeouts. So that will not go away either. And the other thing is, I mean, I put it there in Spanish. Harper is in fuego, man. This guy is 356 batting average, 453 on base percentage, 1.186. He cannot hit home runs like Schwarber, but believe me, the home run the last 2 home runs in the PNC Park has been incredible what the guy has done. I mean,
that home run in the first inning Saturday, he absolutely wasted. That was like the outfielder doesn't even need to turn and look to see whether the ball went out.
Is he preparing to battle Schwarber for the All-Star home run derby? I mean,
I think the Phillies need to keep Bryce Harper healthy. So let Kyle Schwarber do the home run derby.
Yeah,
don't Bryce Harper get his back hurt or anything.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Harper hitting like we know he's capable of hitting. He's had issues with injuries the last few years. This year, the guy's on a mission, which I love it. I mean, it's absolutely amazing what he has done. Here's an interesting chart, guys. Here on the left is the OPS for the season. And then the middle one is what they've done over the last 14 games. And then the one on the right, what they did this week. So you can see that Schwarber and Harper are leading the way. I mean, Harper over the last 14 games at 1.194 leads the team. Over the last week, Schwarber took over at 1.171, but Harper is right there. The average in MLB is about 730, 740, somewhere there, where Crawford is on the season. And you can see, I mean, over the last 14 days, I mean, you see both Bohm and Stott taking it to another level and the 800 mark. So that is great to see because, I mean, look where they are on the season. And that's why I wanted to put this so you guys could see it more in terms of kind of where they've been and where they've been doing. So to show some significant improvement. I mean, Bohm, after those 2 days off, looks like he's hitting with a lot more confidence than he had before. March did not have a good week, 480 this week for him. And look at Garcia, man. He's going down. I mean, 620, 635 now, 270 this week. I mean, he can be the fourth hitter. That's why they make the move, as you mentioned, Tim, to put in Alec Bohm as a fourth hitter. Ramuto is not doing well. Crawford, I mean, it's what you're going to get, the ups and downs of a rookie. But overall, I like what he brings. He's made some very nice defensive catches this week. That catch that he made to that shot for Cristopher Sánchez, what was it, in the 8th inning? I mean, that was an amazing catch.
I think the thing with Crawford, he's done – I'm very happy with what he's done offensively. I not that this should be the ceiling, but I think so far he's at least treaded water, if not but in the outfield, the thing I noticed, he has the athleticism to make all the plays, as you saw on that one. He needs to get better reads, and it's pretty similar when Brandon Marsh is in center field. They are letting so many balls drop in shallow center field this season that just shouldn't be, or at the very least, it should be closer. So, and Justin Crawford is not grading out well defensively, but I see some of those plays, and I'm like, I don't view this as a lost cause with him in center field. I think you need to get him where maybe the instincts improve, but athletically, I think he can do it.
Yeah, I see flashes. I mean, I do see flashes, which is a great thing. I mean, hopefully he can take it to another level. But I love what the guy's bringing. Look, Bohm and Stott needed to significantly improve. Now the big question is Turner. 626 for the season, last 14 games, 505, and he's had some key hits out there. I mean, we've seen them, but we need better hitting. I think it was it today or yesterday? I think Ramuto went to right field. I think it was yesterday. I think it was in the 8th inning. He went to right field, and actually Turner went to right field as well. He needs to use the entire field. He cannot be pulling every single ball. I mean, he strikes out so many times with that pitch away, low and away, which is, I mean, it's like automatic. You put that ball to him, he's going to swing it, and he just needs to have much more discipline at the plate, particularly for a leadoff hitter.
Yeah, no, they need more from him, with especially the way that Schwarber and Harper are hitting. You can imagine how many games look different if Turner gets on base to start it and Schwarber does his thing. It feels like he hits more first inning home runs than almost like anybody you have ever seen. So Destiny Legardo with Phillies Nation, she was in Pittsburgh this weekend, just wrote a story where Don Mattingly said he's sticking with Trea Turner in the leadoff spot. So if that's going to be the case, you're not going to move Schwarber or Harper up to get them more plate appearances, then they need more production out of Turner. You saw last season that when he was the batting champion, there is more in there, and they're going to need more, especially I think like the way that I kind of view things with Trea Turner is he is signed for so long that while he's still like earlier in this contract, like you if you're the Phillies, you really want to make sure these first few seasons are exceptionally good, and at this point the season's been a bit down, so like you said, he can get into those stretches where it feels like that low and away breaking ball, he whiffs at a lot of them, and I guess a lot of those guys on the team in their worst moments, that tends to be one of the flaws. So
yeah, it'll be this week. It'll be interesting, and we'll talk more about it. We're going to get 3 lefties in a row. 2 lefties. Lodolo and Abbott are going to be lefties, and then we have a righty in between. Kind of their big guy the draft pick from last year.
Chase Burns. Chase Burns.
He has a great arm too, by the way.
Tremendous.
So here is kind of in a synopsis where the season is: 24 and 23, 12 and 12 at home, 12 and 11 away. We're 6 and 7 against the National League East. Against 500 teams, we've improved because the Pirates are still a 500 team. They're 24 and 23 tied for us. So those 3 games significantly help. We're at 7 and 12 against 500 and above teams. 4 and 3 in extra innings, 9 and 4 in one-run games. We've seen some improvement against left-handed pitching since Mattingly got here. Hopefully, we'll continue to improve. I think I have won the last 4 games against lefties. I mean, I thought we were like 2-11, and now I see.
Well, it's because they're not facing Chris Sale every time they face a lefty, and they had Chris Sale twice in the first month of the season.
And that's one thing that how much is what we're seeing is we said. I mean, we mentioned it, Tim, when you were here before, that maybe they should let Topper go the next 10 games because we know the schedule we're going to get. How much is the hot streak, the schedule, in your opinion, versus this guy's truly getting out? I do believe the pitching is real.
Yeah, I think the pitching is real, and you've had your hottest hitters and bullpen look better. And I do buy like the idea that sometimes it's time for a change. I don't know that Don Mattingly's doing anything that different than what Rob Thompson was doing. I do think, as much as they've downplayed it, like they are focusing more on the fundamentals, quote unquote, pregame. Like they're really doing fielding practice a little more consistently and stuff of that nature. So I think that was like a big thing to clean up. They were a bad, sloppy team for the first 3 weeks of the season, and you have seen some of that clean up. So I think that, but they obviously, when teams make a managerial change, like if the Phillies were about to face the Dodgers and the Yankees the week of the managerial change, they wouldn't have done it that week. They would have waited until, like, you want the new manager to get off to a good start. They've had that, they've done that, and we'll see. Like, I know the answer early on was, well, we've played the Phillies would say we've played the Braves and Cubs a lot. Well, yeah, they got hot by playing you in part. So, but since then, they've faced weaker teams and they've taken advantage of them.
Hey, which is what you need to do. I mean, now the interesting part, we're going to see the schedule in a minute. That's where the interesting thing is going to be. Last year, we were 14 and 12 in April, and this year we ended up the month at 10 and 16. We're 12 and 4. I mean, if you look at last year, we were 19 and 9. So we're probably getting hot at the right time. Hopefully the trend will continue. I mean, then we play basically for June and July, we play 500 ball. And then we took off in August and September to kind of take it to the next level. So it'll be interesting how this year will play out. I think the other important thing is we won, what, is it 5 or 6 straight series? Is it 6? 6. I thought we were like 2-7, right? Yeah, 6 straight series we won with the ones we beat the Pirates, which is impressive. And then the other thing is, I'm glad that I don't see a 30 on the run differential anymore. I mean, we're at -17. I mean, that 30 was like, I mean, it was the worst in baseball. I mean, it was like 28, 29, 30 in baseball, which is crazy. I mean, the Colorado Rockies were doing better than we do, and I mean, in run differential, which. It's crazy. So
it was a lot of Dylan Moore on the mound early in the season, more than you would want to see if you're the Phillies.
Stubby has a 0 ERA, man. He looks good. So here's look at the season, right? This is looking at it by week. We played 8 weeks so far. We lost the first one to the Texans, then to the Texans. Look at this football here. That was my football. To the Texas Rangers. That was my football background there.
Christmas Eve.
Yeah. We beat that series in Washington and Colorado, and then we lost 6 straight series against San Francisco, Arizona, the Cubs, Atlanta, the Cubs against Atlanta. So you see there, the schedule was a lot tougher outside of the San Francisco, which is the tough place to play, just like PNC Park. Can you believe this? We started this series, I think we were 29 and 46. I mean, at PNC, we've never been very effective there, and we swept them. I mean, and we're 32 and 46 now. So significant improvement there. We're moving in the right direction there. And then look at the last 3 weeks: 5-1, 5-2, 5-1 this week. And then what I always tell you, we got to score 4 or more runs, and we have to allow less than 4 runs. And then you see there 483 3 weeks ago, 5.57 runs last week, and this week 483, particularly because in the Boston series we did not hit well. And then you see the runs allowed 3, 4, and then this was the best week by far at 233. So for the year, we're at 4.23 runs per game. Last year, we were at 4.44 runs per game at this same, during the first half of the year, but we're significantly below on the pitching. So the pitching has not, hopefully we'll turn it around and continue moving in the right direction. We're right now 18th in ERA in all of baseball. So we'll continue to see that. Some interesting news. Tyler from Phil Stelgate put this out there, which I found it very, very interesting. The third baseman, Tariaki Soto, the Phillies, Mattingly, the general manager of the Phillies, Mattingly was there with a number of their convoy evaluating this potential third baseman. He's a third baseman outfielder, big power hitter. You see the numbers there. I think he's projecting to hit over 30 home runs in the Japanese league. Very, very. I thought this was very, very interesting that they're monitoring on this guy. This guy's going to be in the market next year, and look, there's going to be some money freed up behind a number of the contracts out there. The Taiwan Walkers and the Castellanos. I think probably the Taiwan went to Luzardo, but it'll be very interesting if we can put some money against a guy like this. The unfortunate part, Tim, you say it.
Well, he's beyond. Yeah, he's a lefty. Also, if sports radio callers would just call him teriyaki the whole time, so I think that would be unfortunate. But it's interesting. Obviously, they've been trying to break into the Japanese market for quite some time now, and a year ago, a month ago, I thought, for sure, Aiden Miller's going to be the third baseman next year, but who knows? So Soto becomes an interesting option. Even if Miller is your third baseman, like you said, if he's an option at outfield, it's something to consider for sure.
Escobar is a guy that I don't know when they're going to bring him up to AAA, but he's a guy that has the potential to make it to the majors, and he can play second and third. So that could be another name out there. I'm putting Aiden Miller on the side until we know more about what's going on with his back and when can he start playing baseball again. But hopefully sooner rather than later. We wish him nothing but the best to Aiden Miller. On the other hand, you see a hot auto camp. The last 12 games, he's hitting 283 with a 389 on base percentage, 932 OPS. I would not be surprised if we see him coming. Bringing them up tomorrow or for this series. I would not be surprised.
Well, it's interesting because you have the lefties, but also if you're going to give Edmundo Sosa some runway in left field, why would you bring him up? Because he's not going to play. That's the issue. And Bohm has gotten going. I think Otto Kemp, even though, yes, maybe the hype got a little out of control in the offseason, I think Otto Kemp can hit in the majors. I just don't know what position he plays. And right now, if you're going to go with Sosa in left field against lefties, which you'll have 2 opportunities in this series, I don't know. Well, what's going to change? They sent Kemp down to get more consistent at bats. He would be coming back here to sit on the bench, which is basically what Felix Reyes has been doing, sitting 6 out of 7 days, basically.
To me, though, I'm almost at the point with Otto Kemp where I think he profiles as a bench player, and if he doesn't play all that much, I think that's fine. If he's going to be a bench player, at some point he'll have to be able to perform without those consistent at-bats. To me, he's kind of proven that he can hit in AAA, and if he's going to be a viable major league bench player, maybe he just has to figure it out on the fly, how to adjust without those regular at-bats. And I think it'd be fine if you want to swap Reyes and Kemp again. And if he doesn't play all that much because you're going with Sosa in left field more often, I think you can live with that, because I just don't know what if he needs consistent at-bats to be productive, then he probably doesn't have a role on the Phillies anytime soon.
And if let's say the situation is Garrett Stubbs is starting the game, JT is getting the day off, and he comes up in the 9th inning against a left-handed pitcher, you're not going to pinch hit Marchand, but Marchand comes in to catch. But who would you rather pinch hit for him, Kemp or Felix Reyes?
Yeah, probably Kemp.
Yeah, that's how I feel. So, I know people got frustrated with him. I thought he looked better in left field last year than he did this year. They did play in some tough outfields early in the season, but I think it's worth at some point before the trade deadline figuring out, like, was last September just a fluke, or did he just get off to a slow start this year?
Yeah, I mean, look, the reality is, you're laughing, Star Wars.
Just Kemp don't have role on the Phillies.
Yeah, well, I mean, the reality is, I mean, does he? I mean, it was tough. I mean, that's why they probably decided not to invest the money. I would have gone with Andujar or somebody like that. And you basically create a 4-member platoon there. I mean, Garcia is not offering, like, he's a great defensive player. I mean, absolutely, he's probably best defensive right fielder we've seen in many, many years. I mean, the guy has a gun for an arm. It was funny the other day that he felt that the ball went all the way to the back. I mean, I was like, wow, that happens to him. I'm surprised. But the guy, I mean, his arm is like in another hemisphere. But I like the idea of bringing somebody like Andujar. I mean, at the right time, you would have brought that guy, and then you have a kind of a rotation between 4 outfielders. And you have Garcia, you would have somebody like Andujar, you would have March, and you would have Crawford, and they would have enough at-bats to play throughout the entire year, but you rotate them. I mean, right now, it's like you're stuck with what you have, and, I mean, are you going to put Kemp to sit March? I mean, March... By the way, I mean, if you go back to what I put there before, I mean, his numbers against lefties have significantly. I'll put them up right quick, but it's not here. Sorry, it's another slide. I'll look for it in a second.
Well, I think one of the. I don't think, like, Randall Grichuk was the name people talked about. He was so bad for the Yankees, he got DFA'd already. I think it was worth it to give Kemp a look and maybe give it again. And if not,
look at March against left-handed pitching. He's at 599. So I mean, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah. That's not good.
The
Phillies. That's a problem.
The Phillies, basically, since Brandon Marsh moved from center field to left field, have been searching for a right-handed hitter who can play left field. And you think of the names, nobody has stuck. It started with Christian Pache, and they tried it with Whit Merrifield, and they brought in Austin Hayes and Weston Wilson, and
probably Austin Hayes is the only major league player that you would say that have played regular in the majors to know that he was given a good chance as a right-handed bat. Outside of that,
yes, but basically they've opted, like you mentioned, like they've opted to go with more of these bench players that they hope can play up into that role. Other than when they did trade they traded a resource for Austin Hayes. They traded Sir Anthony Dominguez. That was the only time. Well, I guess also Whit Merrifield, they gave a big contract to do that. But since then, these last couple of years, they've gone with maybe Weston Wilson, and going into this year, especially Otto Kemp, and then trying Felix Reyes. This offseason, they didn't try to trade. Maybe can't say they didn't try to. We don't know that for sure. But they didn't trade for somebody, and they didn't sign anybody that's more of a proven platoon player. They opted to go with Kemp and then Reyes, and I think Marsh's year has allowed them to do a few different things, but optimally, like, you would just have a full-time platoon at that position, and they just haven't found the right person full-time in years to be able to pull that off.
Well, and I'm interested to see if Garcia doesn't start to hit before the trade deadline. I think right field in some way can become a platoon, whether that means you acquire a full-time center or left fielder and Crawford and Marsh become part of a platoon, or Rincones gets healthy and becomes part of a platoon with Garcia.
Or you do what I just mentioned to you. You bring somebody with experience that you could rotate that would be a great against left-handed pitching. And
thing with Garcia, though, is you want a left-handed hitter. So you would bring in a right-handed hitter for another spot.
If you could find, or even if you found an everyday left fielder who hits right-handed, then you can make it a platoon in right field with Marsh and
Brandon
Garcia.
Marsh hit right hand. This is an interesting question. I'm letting another question from a Star War here. Why do we need a third catcher? That's where are we going to? I'd love to get your thoughts into where are we going to end up with the Marchand Stott experiment. Like, by the way, just let me just make that minor comment. I like the idea of a Stubby to come in to help get the momentum on this clubhouse, his personality, and helping out, which, I mean, definitely is probably a component of what he has helped. But your thoughts on the three catcher world?
My thought is who is being blocked from being called up by the Phillies having three catchers right now? The biggest issue, and no, they don't even have another outfielder right now to fill the outfield spot, let alone worrying about the three catchers. So I think they kept three catchers because they didn't want to risk losing one of Stubbs or Marchand by designating them for assignment, because their catching depth after that is pretty thin. And JT is 35 and was just coming off the IL. And right now, Stubbs is out playing Marchand, although Marchand did have the big hit on Friday night. So, and I think Marchand is a really good fielder. I think he is a major league backup catcher, but his hitting has been brutal this year. And there's joke about it all you want. There is something to Garrett Stubbs, like the vibes, whatever you want to call it. Like they've done a lot of winning when Garrett Stubbs has been on the roster.
And with the way that they've utilized that last roster spot, Dylan Moore pitched as much as he started. They haven't used that last roster spot, and the way they've explained it, with the way they utilize that, I guess you could critique, is that like the best way to use your roster? Should you be able to find somebody better that it makes it more of a resource and you're utilizing all your spots? But the way they have used that last roster spot, he doesn't play. So if you have the third catcher, with the way they've explained it, it makes some sense. If you have the third catcher on days where Real Muto's off, and he has had some injury stuff this year, he's 35 years old. It allows you to be able to, like we mentioned before, you can pinch hit for one of the backup catchers when they're starting late in a game, and then the other catcher can enter as the defensive replacement to finish out the game, and you don't have to burn Real Muto on one of his days.
It's a luxury to have a third catcher. I agree in the sense that when the trading deadline comes in, I mean, that is going to be one of the spots. I mean, there's no doubt. The other big question is going to be the chem spot. He still have options to go down, right? If you need to send him down.
Well, once you use an option for a year, you don't have to use it anymore for the rest of the year. So they can send him up and down. Yeah, this year I believe he's got another one next year. So that's not a concern with them. Yeah.
So let's go about 5 more minutes. A few things that kind of we wanted to kind of high level. The division here is kind of where we are. The Braves look very, very solid. They've been playing great baseball. Look at their ERA, 2.94. I mean, they are very, very impressive. They're hitting, and the other team that is hitting. Can you believe the Nationals just passed the Braves as the number 1 run scores per game in baseball? I mean, explain to me that one. The Nationals. I mean, I know they got Woods and they got Abrams and Lyle. Lyle's a good player, but outside of that, what? Reese, I mean, who is hitting? I mean, who is absolutely getting this team to score so many runs? The young manager?
It's not what you would have expected, but
I don't know. 5.4 runs per game. I mean, number 1 in baseball for the Nats. So, hey, kudos to them, but they cannot pitch. As they say, look, I mean, they're like 28th, 29th in baseball in ERA. So. Look, it's going to be the Braves and the Phillies. How far do you think the Mets have been playing better. How far do you think the Mets will go?
I haven't seen anything from the Mets this year to make me think they're going to get into contention. Now, all it takes is a good week, but even today they end up winning. That's great. But the Bo Bichette thing has been a disaster for them.
That's true.
We
signed him, right?
Something it feels off with the Mets. That they haven't been able to make the Soto Lindor thing work. you let Pete Alonso go, which I still don't understand, and you sign Jorge Polanco, who's injured, and it just Noah McLean's great. That you hit on, but
that guy is going to be elite now. Let's forget the word elite. I need to take that word out of my vocabulary. He's really, really good. One thing that I noticed 3 years ago, you remember the vibe they have with Iglesias and oh my God and the singing and all that. I said this multiple times in the Carlos Vargas show. To me, letting that guy go, you lost whomever could have been a connector. You need in dugouts connectors. Stubby is a connector. Schwarber, they're connectors. They're people that go beyond just going to work, but they make going to work. Ranger was like that. They make going to work fun. And I do believe the Mets are missing. I don't know if it's Iglesias, but what Iglesias brought to that team in terms of bringing it all together.
I think Starling Marte was a big guy for them in terms of doing that. Like, you need a guy, honestly, probably a guy that speaks English and Spanish that is able to bring everyone in the club. Not that guys don't say hi to each other, but so guys are all kind of on the same page and celebrating together and everything. I think that is a real dynamic. And you have so many different ages and cultures and stuff. It is hard for everyone to always be on the same page with things.
Last question on this slide. Do you believe the Phillies have a chance?
A chance, maybe.
At the division?
I just think the Braves, with a head start like this, you never know what can happen, but it does feel like the Phillies are pretty firmly in the wild card hunt versus the division. But there is so much time left that you never know. But I think the Phillies, it's probably more of a wild card hunt, but I guess the Phillies have shown over the years that if they get the wild card and the Braves are the division winner, they can take care of them in the playoffs. That doesn't matter too much to the Phillies once October comes around, at least in terms of that head-to-head matchup. So I've seen crazier things than 8 games today, but
the Braves are still going to get Waldrop and Schwellenbach back. We know how good Schwellenbach is, and Waldrop down the stretch last year, he had a Sunday night game against the Phillies where he looked nasty. So I think the Braves right now look like an 100-win team. I know that says 94, and maybe that's
FanGraph. That's what FanGraph, the numbers for FanGraph.
Yeah, and a lot of those projection systems are more conservative about things. I think the Braves have been the best team in baseball this season, which I didn't expect after the spring training they had. But Matt Olson's played like an MVP. It's going to be tough to catch the Braves. But honestly, from our perspective, I've hated covering the week off in between the regular season and the playoffs. So I'd rather just the Phillies play in the playoffs in the wild card round, and whatever happens.
Yeah, no, that is true. And look, we've been more successful playing it out of the wild card than we've been. We've gotten it both times further playing the wild card than playing directly and missing that week. So that's kind of the reality of things. Let me pull a couple of things here, guys. I'll show you this right quick, which I thought it was interesting. Here is the kind of the overall kind of where the OPS is for the team over the last few weeks. So when you look at it, hold on. You look at it overall, we're 21th in baseball with a 696 OPS. Over the last 14 days, we were third, and then last week we've been 17, and that was the Boston series, which we hardly hit. So that's where we went from third to 17. But we definitely are moving in the right direction, which is great. I thought that was interesting that when you look at 14 days, we're third in baseball. When you look at the last week, we're 17th. The other thing is the same thing with regards to our pitching. Where you see it with kind of where the ERA is, and you see it right there. 4.22 for the year. Over the last 14 games, we're fifth in ERA at 2.81, and then we're 2. Our ERA this week was 2, despite that. Start by Nola. So that was pretty interesting. And it is another one. I didn't put it in the notes of the week, but this is another interesting comment there. Dylan Carlson. He's a great defensive player. He can play every outfield position. He was a tremendous talent, but the guy, I look at him more as a defensive replacement, somebody that can play great defense and support you a little bit and being kind of a game changer.
I can see him filling out that final spot on the bench though and stabilize. He can play all three outfield spots. Yeah. He's a switch hitter. I thought that was a good move. That's the type of move
I agree.
The Philly, like Pat Gillick or someone would have made. And you look up, and then that guy has a big play in the field in the postseason as a defensive, something like that.
He helped the Orioles. He helped the Orioles win some games last year, despite having not a very pretty OPS. But he had some very good games with the Orioles, and he's a really, really good outfielder.
No, and he was a bust, but he had a good year. It's not like he never did anything in the majors. Yeah. His first year was really good.
And it's like Tim said, they don't have a ton of outfielders ready to come up right now. If you have an injury or two, you want to have some extra options at AAA just in case something happens. So it doesn't hurt to have some guys with major league experience and with tools that made them a top prospect at one point.
Yeah, fair. That's a fair point. Look, this is. I said it. I would have preferred giving Rob the 10 days. But let's be very clear. This is working, and we cannot complain one bit about it. It is unfortunate. It is what it is. That's the reality of the business. You either win or you move out. That's kind of where how the business is played. So let's go and let's talk about this week or the coming weeks. This is going to be very interesting, guys. This is going to be very interesting. So the Cubs can hit. The Cubs. The Reds are a good hitting team. Ellie de la Cruz. You have some guys in there that can bring the bat. It'll be very, very interesting. Then you have Cleveland that knows how to play baseball better than anyone. They know how to win. They find a way, man. That team. I love how that team and the Tampa Bay Rays. They're both in first place, and it's laughable. Seriously. If you go and you look at the salaries, Cleveland and Tampa are 28th and 29th. I think the Marlins are 30th. But it's just amazing how they know how to win baseball, and they're in first place. And then you go San Diego and LA, which are fighting for their lives as 1 and 2 in the National League West. Look, there is no real deal here. This is the real. You're going to be the next couple of weeks are going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to catch the Reds. They haven't been playing well. Eugenio Suarez still isn't back. Sal Stewart, who was lighting the world on fire in April, has struggled this month, although J.J. Bleday has come up and been on fire for them. So that's somebody to watch out for in this series. But they need to do well on this homestand, because then you go on the road and you have the San Diego and LA, and then back home in San Diego again. That's going to be a tough stretch. So you don't want to enter that after a 3-3 homestand. I don't think you want to.
You're talking about Stewart, the first baseman, right?
Yeah, Sal Stewart. Yeah,
really good player. Really good.
But he has a 500 OPS this month. He's gotten cold, so they're maybe catching them as opposed to the first month of the season. The Reds were playing really well. They've cooled off since then.
Yeah, Ellie de la Cruz physically. Your thoughts, Ty, on what's coming up?
I'm excited to see Burns live in person. That should be interesting, and I think the rotation is such a crucial part of the team to watch right now. When you have the two guys at the top that are pitching the way they are, and then Andrew Painter, good in his last start, kind of some struggles in between there. It's been up and down for Luzardo and pretty down overall for Aaron Nola. So right now, with the way things are trending, I feel like there's a storyline and something to watch with all of the starting pitchers when we know how key the rotation is for the Phillies' success. So I'm very much looking forward over the course of just this homestand, the next few weeks, just how things kind of go for the rotation and what kind of production all of those guys are able to put up separately, but also totally as a unit. I feel like there's just a legit storyline to watch for each of those guys every single start.
I think the next 2 weeks are going to tell us what this real team is. Can our pitching? I think our pitching will continue to be lights out with Nola, with Wheeler and with Sanchez. What's going on with Luzardo? When Luzardo goes off, he just one inning that he overthrows and he just goes. is it a mental thing? I mean, is it more of what do you guys see? I mean, he leaves too many pitches in the middle of the plate, and just the counts go crazy. I mean, what's your take on the inconsistencies of Luzardo?
Well, he hasn't historically pitched well out of the stretch, but I still, when Luzardo takes the mound, feel good about him. He has that nasty back foot pitch to right-handers, and lately it's gotten in and hit some guys. But when that's on, I think he's excellent. So we'll see what happens. I still feel very confident when Jesus Luzardo takes the mound that the Phillies have a good chance to win.
I do, but those like snowball blow-up innings, they're brutal. They torch his season stats. Like if you look at his ERA versus his FIP or some of his expected stats, like if you take the ERA out of it, you'd look and be like, this guy's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this season. And you look at the ERA and it hasn't been good. It's because like these one inning things, it just snowballs on him. And you look up and it's like, he just gave up 6 runs in one frame. What happened? And it seems to happen so quick. For whatever reason, sometimes it's like a different problem in each of the starts, but the result is the same thing. And that still seems to be, it happened last year. Maybe it's even happened a couple more times than last year already. It seemed like it was really those like 2 blow-up starts last year, but there's already been 3 or 4 instances of it. And that seems to be like the biggest problem for Jesus Luzardo, and I don't really know what you do about it.
I agree, and it's concerning. I mean, it is concerning. I mean, one thing that I look at here, we're going to be facing 2 lefties. Lodolo, this is his second start. He started hurt, right? What was the issue? Do you guys know what the issue was?
He's always hurt. That's his problem. He just hasn't been able to stay healthy. But historically, he's made 6 starts against the Phillies in his career, and I think he has a 3.06 ERA. So he's pitched them tough. And then it's kind of the same thing with Abbott in Game 3. He's not had a great season this year, but he was an all-star a year ago. And in between, you get Chase Burns, who's a Rookie of the Year candidate. So they're in really good the Reds have 3 good pitchers going in this series.
Yeah, so it'll be it's going to be very, very interesting. And I was very surprised to see that they're 27th in baseball in ERA, and their starting rotation is 25. They're normally really, really good. That rotation has a lot of promise in them. So it'll be very, very interesting. Guys, cannot thank you enough. I mean, anything else you want to kind of convey? Tim, where can we follow you in social media? All the wonderful things you're doing on Pattison, Ty, you and Phillies Nation, and all the things. I mean, Destiny was in Pittsburgh. I mean, we envy her. She was in Pittsburgh this weekend.
Yeah, she got to see a great series. You can follow me on Twitter at Tim Kelly Sports, on all social platforms, really. And then new episode of Phillies Stoplight just came out a few hours ago, and everything on Pattison. We have a new layout of the site, a new CMS, so it looks a little different. We're finally getting some of the kinks worked out, but we have coverage of the PGA, and then obviously the Phillies and Sixers and Eagles and Flyers and everything.
The Eagles. Hey, what's the record, Tim?
11-6.
Oh, come on, man! I thought it was 17-0. Come on, I mean, no, follow Tim and Pattison and everything they're doing. Him, Anthony, and the gang, Grays and the gang are doing a tremendous job. So thank you so much, Tim, for being with us today. Ty, what are you doing? I mean, talk to us about all the magic you're putting together on Phillies Nation.
Yeah, like I said, like you guys said, Destiny Legardo, she was in Pittsburgh this weekend. A lot of great coverage on PhilliesNation.com. We'll be covering this homestand coming up, and then I will be in San Diego and LA on this road trip. So follow along on PhilliesNation.com, follow at Phillies Nation, and follow me at Ty Daubert, and we'll have you covered. And
when you get to the plane, you just log in and we'll say, what did you learn about the San Diego and Dodgers series? It's going to be, I'm telling you, the next 2 weeks are going to be very, very interesting. I mean, what the real Philadelphia Phillies are for this year. So it'll be very, very interesting. So don't miss it. Again, a long way to go still. Tim on Pattison, Ty, Phillies Nation, follow them, please. I mean, they're the best in what they do. And I truly thank you guys for being with us today. And looking forward to having a great week. Have a great week, guys. God bless, and go Phils.
Lanzamiento, aquí viene un batazo de Mundito entre right center field, la bola pica, se extiende, viene anotando Stott, empata el juego, también manda para la bola Turner anota y los Phillies se van arriba. Se prepara, Mundito en segunda, el lanzamiento, batazo profundo para el center field, la bola se va, Schwarber Bohm, ¡campanazo! Aquí viene el lanzamiento. ¡Swing!